whether it is migration or subsidence and all those things. So basically, this talk is going to be more of a preventive, how you can prevent it rather than treat it. So that is the best way that you can avoid a complication. So when we talk of a cage or a graft, we basically mean an anterior column or reconstruction, and it can come along with a neutralization device anteriorly, which is a plate, or posterior tension band restoration. So this is a spectrum of conditions or ways in which you can manage all the conditions which we are going to discuss. So here's a patient, 46 years old male patient who came to us 6 months post-operatively. He was operated for a cervical disc and he was complaining of severe dysphagia. Obviously he had persistent radicular pains. So on the X-ray you can see that he's been operated with anterior cervical discectomy and fusion. You can see the presence of anterior peak cage right over here, and there's an anterior osteophyte which is formed over that, and the cage has backed out anteriorly, and this obviously was the cause of his dysphagia. So the question is, what went wrong in this particular condition? So just going back to the basics, and it's very important that you understand the basics and prevent these complications. So if you look at the cervical spine, you can see that the cervical vertebral bodies, especially the end plates, are not flat surfaces sitting on top of each other, right? They are saucer shaped in the mediolateral direction where they blend into the uncovertebral joints laterally, and also in the sagittal profile you can see that they are C-shaped. So for you to have a good hold, for you to have a good refashioning of these end plates, you actually have to work a lot and make sure that they are flat parallel surfaces sitting on each other. In cases of corpectomy, the situation becomes worse. It's okay even if it's a degenerative condition, but if you have a condition where there is a global destruction, especially anteriorly, then you have a large void which you probably need to reconstruct, and refashioning the end plates and making sure that your cage is absolutely sitting flush is very important. So for me, the 4 most important things are for ensuring a good cage or graft fusion is preparing a good bed of the graft. Obviously the graft has to fit in quite well with good coverage all over the end plate. You have to protect the graft initially, and after that the graft is going to protect your construct. So you need to use neutralization devices like the plates or screws. And the most important thing obviously is you have to manage the etiology, because if the etiology is not managed, then the construct is going to fail. So what do you mean by good graft placement? What do you mean by good bed of a graft? So you can see that the vertebral bodies in the sagittal profile are sort of beak shaped. There's an anterior beak of the anterior osteophyte or anterior sort of margin, which you have to refashion when you are putting in a triangular graft or a cage. So you have to make sure that you remove the anterior osteophytes quite well. You prepare the end plate, keeping a balance between maintaining adequate cortical bone and also exposing bleeding cancellous bone. So you need to be sure, because if you remove too much of cortical bone, then you obviously, once you put in your cage, it's going to sink inside, right, because of lack of support. And the most important thing which I have seen over the cases that we have seen cage migration is insufficiency or inadequate posterior clearance. So removal of posterior osteophytes is very important for you to have a good parallel end plate so that your graft or cage can sit in. So how do you go about it? So when you are doing a corpectomy, the situation becomes slightly different. As you can see, you want to do a good wide decompression of the cord anteriorly, but it's important to keep the lateral pillars, because your cage might not be exactly the same size that your mediolateral dimensions of the body are. So you need lateral supports, like you need both supports on both the sides for your cage or graft to be sitting in. And then I do undercutting of the uncovertebral joints, as you can see over here, to expose the nerve roots. So that's how the end plate should look like, a good balance between cancellous bone and cortical bone. The second important thing is obviously you need to ensure that whatever device they are using, either a graft or a cage, is sitting in compression at the end of surgery. So you can use intraoperative distraction devices, like here you have, I usually use a cervical tongs and traction, but you can use what are called as the Casper's pins or retractors, where you can put in the pins, distract the body, decompress, put in a graft or a cage, and then you release the distraction so that it falls back. So there are multiple ways of doing the same thing. One thing you need to ensure is that don't overstuff the disc space in this whole process of putting in a bigger graft. It makes no sense if your facet joints are distracted posteriorly, especially in the cervical spine, because over a period of time the graft is going to sink in, and there's a very high chance that your you will land up with a loose cage or a graft inside, especially a cage. The graft is more forgiving. And also we need to remember that you need to have a good coverage of the graft. For example, don't use a small cervical cages that the implant company usually gives you. I usually use dorsal cages in the cervical spine. They give me a good enough anteroposterior as well as mediolateral coverage. Again, when you are inserting, make sure that you don't put a oversized graft. Fashion your graft in a trapezoidal shape wherever you are using it, so that the initial insertion, almost 25%, just goes in and sits in. You distract, give the final amount of distraction, and then you keep on gently tapping the graft inside. Don't hammer the graft. So that is the key. So that is how you ensure graft placement. In corpectomy, it could be different as compared to just a discectomy, because the void created is much more. So there are multiple ways. I usually like to create a trough in the vertebral body, a C-shaped, maintain the anterior osteophyte, and then put in my graft and release the distraction so that it fits in compression. So that is the way I do it. Third is using adequate neutralization devices or protection devices like a plate anteriorly. Here you can see that there's a cage which has been put inside, and in the initial phase, the plate is supporting the graft. Once the fusion happens, then the plate is of no use inside, but then you ensure that the fusion happens in the desired position that you want, especially when you want to preserve lordosis in multi-level corpectomies. Cages, you have multiple options. In single level, as you can see, you can have those standalone cages with serrations, or you can have the screws going through cages which give intrinsic stability to the cage. So cages is not an issue as far as immediate stability is concerned. And the final thing is that you need to control the etiology. Now here you can see it's a it's a good construct, which is a long segment dorsolumbar construct, but over a period of time you can see that the graft, the cage on the right side is tilting into kyphosis, purely because the disease has not healed up and the disease has got reactivation. So as I said, controlling the local pathology is very important to ensure that your graft or cage stays. Wherever I am in doubt, I usually use a tricortical graft because they are more forgiving than using cages. In the lumbar spine, as we can see, the TLIFs are one of the most commonly done lumbar instrumented surgeries, and sheerly because of the numbers that we are getting complications. Here you can see a cage which has backed out, and on the MRI you can very well see that's a peak cage which has backed out, giving compression into the canal. And here you can see that if you compare with the proximal disc spaces, the disc space is quite well maintained. There's hardly any preparation of the disc space. The end plates are also, sort of saucer shape. So all these things contribute. There's no sense in just putting a puka, just rotating it 3-4 times and trying to shove in a cage. It doesn't help. Your end plate or the bed of the graft has to be prepared quite well, because your screws are only going to give you temporary relief till fusion happens. They're never going to give you permanent relief. In the dorsal spine too, again you can see that this was a construct where everything was contributing. So probably there was a good sitting of the graft or the cage. The surgeon had done an anterior stabilization, protected the cage, but the disease recurred. You can see here in this case the posterior tension band was not adequate enough, and hence this whole cage has failed. So actually it is not the cages which fail, it is basically the surgeon's technique or the judgment which usually is the cause of failure of these cages. I'll just rush through the management because each case has to be dealt with on an individual basis, especially in the cervical spine. Again, approach is a controversy whether you go from the same side or the opposite side. You need to take into consideration dealing with the scar tissue, to always have a ENT guy helping you out for dissections, especially esophageal and vascular structures which have to be protected. There could be implant related issues which might be having adhesions to the posterior surface of the esophagus, and obviously you need to re-decompress the cord. So to conclude, basically cage placement, or if you have to prevent cage dislodgement or graft dislodgement, make sure that your initial surgery is very good. You have good placement, good coverage of the entire graft or the cage, covering maximum width in the AP as well as mediolateral direction. Make sure at the end of surgery you are convinced that it is only the axial forces which are acting and there are no shear or translational forces which are acting on the cage. Otherwise again it's going to fail, and obviously you need to protect this particular constructs at the end of surgery. So thank you very much.